One of the more interesting aspects that I've always heard come up, and a lot of times from Xbox fans, is Microsoft could buy Sony if they wanted to. And that's something that a lot of people have been talking about a lot lately because we've seen some rumors that some big things have come up. We know that originally Microsoft had actually approached Nintendo to actually buy them out, and they got laughed out of the room because one of the main things about getting buying something as a big conglomerate and companies like that is they have to want to be bought in the first place, right? Now, if you look at Activision, the situation was, I don't want to say dire, but it was a weird situation because you had a lot of negative things surrounding them. They were making the least amount of games that they've ever made. If you think about it, I mean, what games had they been making? Skylanders fell off years ago. Guitar Hero. When was the last time we got a Guitar Hero? When we had the Spyro remastered collection or remake collection or whatever, and then we had a new Crash Bandicoot I think last year. But honestly, Activision has pretty much only been putting out Call of Duty for a little while now, and so again, they were, even though they were making a good amount of money in terms of profits and stuff like that, that was all centrally around Warzone and kind of the Call of Duties and stuff like that. So could Microsoft, in fact, buy out Sony and PlayStation if they wanted to? And why would they do this in the first place? It was funny enough because the site actually ran with this article and kind of covered some of the interesting aspects of it. And I thought that I would get into it because it's a very interesting topic. And I know a lot of people are going to be interested in this. So, hey, let's get started. What's up, everyone? I'm the Crapgamer, and of course, this is Crapgamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice some changes around here. Hopefully that doesn't stop you from giving us a like and maybe even possibly consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me today. It means the world to me. Thank you guys very much, and please hit the like button. Now, this was an article on Dual Shockers, and it says, could Microsoft really buy Sony? Could we witness the biggest acquisition in history? Microsoft has shocked the entire gaming world after announcing that it has acquired the gaming giant Activision Blizzard for a mind-boggling deal costing around $67 billion. In the past year or so, Microsoft has been going all out on the gaming front with the Xbox. We've witnessed massive numbers of titles arriving on Xbox Game Pass, which has been Microsoft's main trump card against Sony. Also, the Bethesda acquisition was quite a lot to bolster the list of developers Microsoft has up its sleeves. With so many fireworks happening from Microsoft on their end, actually, it was quite obvious that Sony should be responding as well. Although we did have a fair idea of what it could be, the rumors, which have been going on for months, finally came to life, and Sony announced that it has acquired Bluepoint Games, the team behind some excellent remakes such as Demon's Souls. Along with that, we also witnessed the Housemarque acquisition, which came off of as a rather surprising announcement, and the success of their game as well. Could Microsoft really buy Sony, however? I think that's a big question that a lot of people ask. Today, or actually yesterday, Microsoft announced it has acquired Activision Blizzard. And, basically it's one of those things that shocked everybody. I mean, I woke up to that news. You might be wondering, what's going on with this, but the news came as quite a shocker to everybody. And considering recently Phil Spencer has stated that they would reevaluate their relationship with Activision, it definitely came as a huge surprise. Now, after the acquisition, there is a storm of comments on social media, and people come up with a lot of theories, and many believe that Microsoft will eventually acquire Sony as well, and start pretty much a monopoly in the video game industry, and that got many fans wondering if that was actually something that could be possible in the world. I mean, could that be something possible? And when you think about this, a lot of people are thinking that Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard is a monopoly. But the fact of the matter is, Microsoft, even after buying Activision Blizzard, would still only be in third place in terms of revenue and money. And if they make Call of Duty exclusive, it would be much less than what they were already making. So, I mean, you would look at basically cutting the money and the profits and stuff and the revenue in half because you're losing the PlayStation audience. So, yeah, I think that, we could be in for a little bit of a weird time. Now, according to this, let's get the numbers out there. Microsoft has a market cap of $2.3 trillion, while Sony has a market cap of $145 billion. On paper, it would seem like it's quite easy for Microsoft to acquire Sony, but the real scenario is far, far from it. A company's market cap doesn't totally define its cash reserves, and so it just doesn't state anything about Microsoft's ability to buy Sony. If we considered the Blizzard scenario, for instance, Microsoft had to do an appraisal of its pocketbook to afford the deal. Now, Sony will cost reportedly more than twice the amount, so you can pretty much guess it would be, a very Herculean task to pull it off, meaning, they would have to do basically twice the amount or more to buy out Sony than what they did with the Activision Blizzard deal. So that would be crazy. And more importantly, before we can talk about if Microsoft can acquire Sony, it is quite pivotal to consider when Sony wants to be acquired or not. That's a big thing. Like, you have to want to be acquired, first of all. It is very highly unlikely, considering on the console forefront, the PlayStation still surpasses Xbox by a good margin. As per December stats, the PlayStation 5 is 5 million units ahead of the Xbox Series X and S, so it makes absolutely no sense for Sony to do this. Moreover, these numbers are basically when we haven't seen any major releases yet, and there's still a massive shortage of console. With games like Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7 coming out this year, the demand for PlayStation is going to get even higher. We might even end up seeing the gap widen even further. Now, the interesting thing for me here is when we kind of look at this situation, a lot of people go, oh, well, they could buy them. I mean, possibly have the money to do that, right? So it's like, even though you have a market cap, you still have to have like the money on hand and things like that. So highly, highly unlikely. But not only that, but you also have the Japanese government, which would definitely probably step in and not allow that to happen. There's different laws and things like that depending on where you're at for like an American. That's not to say that an American company can't buy a Japanese company, because they can, but I just think like Sony being one of the larger companies in Japan would definitely, the government could step in and have something to say about that and stop that. So, again, Microsoft tried to get Nintendo at one point. Nintendo laughed them out of the room. Could Microsoft get other companies down the road? They could, but something tells me they're going to lay off buying the big publishers for a little while, because people are starting to question this a little tiny bit. And if you think about it, I mean, I know a lot of people Googled the market caps of a lot of these companies and stuff like that, but I think the Google market caps thing was a little bit wrong. And the reason why I say this is because Take-Two, I believe if you Google it, has a market cap of 20-something million, or in fact, actually looking at it, it's not even 19 billion, which is far less than what, obviously Activision was bought for. But if you think about it, it's funny because Take-Two actually bought Zynga, and that's something that obviously was something that was a little bit weird as well, because Take-Two spent 12.7 billion for Zynga, and meanwhile, that's obviously if their market cap was so low, it might be something that they weren't able to kind of pull off. So we can see that they're probably worth way more than that, actually. When you think about stuff like Grand Theft Auto and things like that, it's just really a very interesting kind of scenario. Now, would Microsoft buy them? I don't know. I mean, when you start thinking about what's left, the Ubisoft and the Squares and the Segas and the Take-Twos, I think you have to be very careful when consolidating those companies or talking about consolidation. But anyway, I thought it was an interesting topic, and they kind of put that out there, that even though technically the market cap would allow such a thing, there's a lot of factors when people kind of spout off and say, oh, they could buy Sony, or they can do this, or they'll buy Sony. Like, that's not going to happen. So with that being said, I will link this article. You guys can check it out. Let me know what you think. Sound off, rate, comment, subscribe, rack 'em up, fact 'em up, Crapgamer 'em up. Thanks for watching. Crapgamer out.